road win, so they bring home a 1-1 tie with the Nuggets to San Antonio. Nice Barkley shirt. Jamal Murray, the star of Game 2. San Antonio, one of the best teams at home league-wide. That's coming up right here on NBA TV. And later on, another tie-breaking Game 3 after the internet-breaking Clipper comeback Monday night stunned the champs in Oakland. The Warriors and Clippers reconvene at Staples Center tonight. Hey there, everybody. Welcome in. It's game time ahead of another playoff triple header, including Game 3 of the Nuggets-Spurs series right here at 9 Eastern time. Full house, as you can see. That's Grant Hill, Carlos Boozer right over there, and between them, brand new retiree and 13-year NBA veteran Channing Frye.
Feels good.
Shouldn't you be playing golf or shuffleboard or playing ball at LA Fitness?
Grant's been trying. I'm good at golf now. Don't sleep. Listen, I look a little bit like Tiger. Look, he got everybody inspired. But listen, it's good to be here. You know, Grant's been doing it, so I felt like if he could do it, I could.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Grant can do it. Just about anybody can. I think that's the theory.
Might be some truth to that, too.
Well, much to get to here, starting with a series that's gotten saucy over the last few days. The Nets and 76ers will break a 1-1 tie tonight in Game 3. The Nets rode the Game 1 wave of upsets and a hot start to a 111-109 win to start things off. All-star D'Angelo Russell went for 26 for Brooklyn. But the Sixers came back in a big way with a franchise postseason record 145 points with Joel Embiid leaving his mark in more ways than one. He had 23 points and 10 boards. Philly broke it open with another franchise postseason record, their 51-point third quarter, which they won by 28. Since then, a couple of stories have changed the complexion of the series, including Embiid and Ben Simmons' post-game reaction to a vicious elbow Embiid threw at Brooklyn's Jared Allen.
I wasn't surprised. I saw the replay, and obviously it wasn't intentional, and I got him pretty good, and I'm sorry about it, but okay. I'm sorry about it. It wasn't intentional, but it's just me trying to be aggressive. I'm not usually humble, that's why he's laughing. But I was just trying to be aggressive.
Like most people who watched that, Karis LeVert didn't really buy the reason for the laughter. Quote, "We didn't really like that. We thought that was kind of disrespectful, especially after the elbow he threw. It is what it is. There's no love lost. It's a playoff series. We expect that." Nets feel disrespected. Jared Dudley fired a shot at Ben Simmons, saying he's, quote, an average player in the half court. We'll get into that a little more later on. You guys have been through the playoffs a million times. How does all this stuff play out when they tip tonight in Brooklyn?
I think that's good. I'm glad they don't like each other. I'm glad they're not high-fiving each other and asking, are we going to go out to dinner? I like this. Both teams want to win, and I think you have expectations on the Sixers that are now putting a lot of pressure on them. And the Nets are out there attacking, but I think the Sixers definitely won that paint.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what you want in playoff basketball. You want two teams scrapping, going at it. That's how you know it's playoff basketball. To be honest, I mean, that's the move I've seen plenty of. I've done that move myself plenty of times in the playoffs to send a message for the rest of the series. They do hurt, but at the end of the day, I expect more of that. I expect it to get more chippy as the series goes along.
Yeah, as a fan, you love that. You love the intensity, you love the back and forth, the press conference. It's interesting. I think it showed sort of how young Philly is in that particular moment. I think, if we're going to sort of nitpick at that press conference, you either ignore it, you don't really address it somehow, or I don't think you apologize. I mean, I don't think you do that in the playoffs either. But then to laugh about it, not that you need it at this point in time in the postseason, but that locker room in Brooklyn, like now, they got even more sort of fuel, if you will. And so it'll be interesting. It'll be fun to see how they come out and respond. And then can Philadelphia go on the road and play against a very motivated Brooklyn team?
Grant, but in our era of basketball, when we first got to the league, especially your era, the first play of the game would have been a message sent from Brooklyn to Philadelphia. That's not going down. And to Channon's point earlier in the green room, something should have been done that game.
Yeah.
Back in basketball and the NBA earlier, there's always something that happens right after. There's repercussions for that kind of play right away.
Yeah.
That just tells you the different eras we're playing in now.
Yeah.
Well, now everybody's watching, right? And that could change things tonight as well.
Right.
Whether he's elbowing anybody in the jaw or not, Embiid's been incredibly productive so far in short minutes. 45 points, 25 boards in just 45 minutes on the floor. How much of a factor is his physicality, whether it's elbows or just him being himself?
Well, it's a big factor. I mean, look, he's so skilled, so talented, can do so many things out on the perimeter, mid-post. But when he gets a foot in that paint and uses that big body, great touch, great feel inside, there's not much anyone really in the NBA can do. And I think sometimes he likes to play with it on the perimeter, but he's at his best and most effective when he uses that size and that length of his to take up space and create physicality and mismatches inside.
You know, for Brooklyn, maybe all this extracurricular discussion is a good thing because they can maybe forget a little bit about getting smoked in the third quarter and giving up 145 in game 2.
No, that's a good point. They didn't do a good job defensively, but also I feel like that was a must-win almost for Philadelphia. They got embarrassed at home. They get booed out in game 1. They come back in game 2, and everybody plays great. Simmons has a great game. Embiid's playing well. Jimmy Butler's playing well. For Brooklyn, they got to protect home court. If they can get this first game, it puts so much more pressure on the Sixers.
What's on the to-do list tonight for the Nets?
On the Nets, you got to stop fouling. Make Embiid make shots.
Yep.
You know, when he gets, Allen in trouble and they have to go to their bench earlier, it changes their whole complex of their team. So make him make shots and get out and run. I think in Phoenix, or I know in Phoenix, if a guy has a layup, don't foul him and get an and one and stop the ball. Philly wants to slow the game down, use Embiid's physicality, use their length, and be physical. But Brooklyn needs to get out and run, push the pace, get more open threes, get better open threes, and allow their length and their speed to be to help them win this game.
The Sixers have taken 19 more free throws than Brooklyn so far through 2 games and more than any other team in the playoffs to this point.
Yeah, no, they have. And look, Philadelphia is not a three-point shooting team, right? That's not their strong point. So to Channing's point, I mean, also, too, don't foul, but also maybe give different looks. Don't let Embiid go one-on-one. Mm-hmm. Make Philadelphia on the road beat you from outside, which is not something that they're known for doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, speed, quickness, get up and down. Don't slow the game down. That's where Brooklyn's at its best. And in game 2, particularly that third quarter, Philly just was able to beat them up, play at their pace, play Philadelphia Sixer basketball. So, don't foul, get out in transition, and maybe double team Embiid a little bit. Give him some different looks there when he's posting up.
Philly was just 3 of 25 from three-point range in the game 1 loss. Jared Dudley played in game 1, did not play in game 2, talked between games. He's a factor now, and he should be back tonight.
I think what Jared does is he does all the intangibles. He didn't score in the first game that he played, on the field, or they scored free throws. But Jared does so many things. He can guard multiple positions. He's going to make the right pass. He's going to communicate on defense. And I think we talked about this. They're not really a veteran team. And so what he's going to bring is that veteran leadership.
Okay, Swag. Okay.
Has he ever had this camera on him?
That may be the first Jared Dudley walk-up.
He's loving it right now. He's loving it.
Things have changed.
He went to Macy's and got his look before that game. But here's the thing. I mean,
he does it all.
He does it all. We played with Jared, and obviously we understand what he brings to the team. And obviously he's in a veteran role on this team. But you know what? He actually did a pretty good job defensively out there on Ben Simmons and guarding J.J. Redick. I didn't think you really talked after a game that you didn't play. But you don't know Jared Dudley.
No, you don't.
Sometimes you're just answering questions.
There you go.
Oh, man.
It's coming up at the top of the hour on TNT. Coming up here, Boogie Cousins is done, but the Warriors series with the Clippers is just getting started. What to look for in Game 3 tonight when we come back.
We just went downhill and just played, basically Clippers basketball.
Nice move there by Williams, who has come to life in the third.
At some point, you got to forget about the scoreboard and play Clipper ball, and that's what they've been doing.
Clippers very much alive, down here by 14 after trailing by as many as 31. Gallinari for 3. Yes, they are within 3.
We changed a couple of things offensively and defensively in the fourth or in the third on the fly, and it worked out for us.
Once you lose momentum in a game against a really good team, it's hard to get it back. You cut the lead to 12, you cut the lead to 10, and then you realize you got a game going. And I'm one of those guys that can get hot, and I just got lost in the moment.
Lou Williams knocks it down, and the game is tied at 1-28. An open shot, Shannon able to knock it down. First lead for the Clippers since it was 12-11.
I love the end of the game that Shea made a great decision pass, and then Shea made a big shot. Those are two of our rookies down the stretch of a game. I loved it.
A remarkable comeback by the LA Clippers, the largest comeback win in playoff history since 2000.
That's a record we didn't necessarily want to have, but, we'll take it.
We got exactly what we deserved. Clippers were great. They executed. They were hungry. They stayed connected. They were together.
You're down 30 on the road to anybody, and you come back, it's special. But that's what was special, not winning the game. You can hear them in the locker room. They're not talking about that. They're talking about coming back and winning.
Was the largest comeback in postseason history in Game 2. Over the final 19 minutes, 30 seconds, the Clippers outscored the Dubs 72-37, including plus 20 alone off turnovers in that span. Afterward, Lou Williams tried to make sense of it all with Kristen Ledlow.
Considering the emotional toll, I would imagine, that the greatest comeback in playoff history can take, how then do you stay focused now on the task at hand?
It was 48 hours ago. It was a great moment, but that was Sunday, and we have an opportunity to play again on our home floor for the next couple of games. Things like that, it breeds confidence, and so now I feel like guys would say if we can come back down 30, we give ourselves an opportunity from the start of this basketball game. We have an opportunity to win. So I think that's the biggest takeaway we can get from that.
They're playing a gimmick defense, which has been working, top blocking everything on the perimeter. So guys not even looking at the three-point line. They're just forcing guys inside the three-point line. So for us, when I get the ball in my spots, I got a pest, Patrick Beverly, who was up underneath me. Well, I could definitely shoot over top and score every time if it's a one-on-one situation. But we got a guy that's dropping and helping, and then we got another guy that's just sitting on me, waiting for me to dribble the basketball. If I put the basketball on the floor, I can probably make 43% of my shots if I shoot them like that. But that's not really going to do nothing for us with the outcome of the game, because we got a nice flow. Everybody touching the rock, everybody shooting and scoring. So then this series is kind of weird because, when the guy is that small, you got the advantage. But the refs see, we hear David and Goliath a lot growing up, so that story is pretty much prominent in people's minds. So when you put that out there on the court against me, then the ref's gonna give him a little bit more. So when he run up on me like a pit bull, grab me, hold me, I don't mind it. That's how he make his money. That's how he feed his family. But if I throw something back, then let us play. I'm not gonna get in the way of the game because, I want to have a little back and forth with Patrick Beverly. I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
This Kevin Durant versus Patrick Beverly thing is fascinating. KD apologized for getting ejected in Game 1, and after Game 2 talked about not taking the bait and getting too involved with Beverly. Is Patrick Beverly in his head, and how does this play out moving forward?
I think this is just what Patrick Beverly does. It's absolutely horrible when you're playing against him, but when you watch him play, I love it. I think the Clippers are now gaining a lot of the hearts of everybody watching. They play with so much passion. He fires their team up. They're playing with house money. Nobody expected them to win a game. And now everyone's saying, well, they may win 2, they may win 3. So Patrick Beverly is their leader, both on and off the court. And if he wasn't like this, he would send a message to his guys.
What should Kevin Durant do tonight? How should he approach it?
Yeah, me and Grant was just saying, be more aggressive. I think one of the things that KD said in that interview that I found interesting is he said, if I get to my spots, I think he has to work a little bit harder to get to his spots, his elbows, pinch post, the areas that he likes to operate in, because he does have a huge height advantage over him. All you got to do is turn and shoot. But Pat Bev is right up in his lap, to what Channing said earlier. Kind of like I used to play Dirk. You want to get up in him, take away his airspace. Mm-hmm. That's what Bev is doing to KD right now.
Well, he scored in Game 2. He's going to score whenever he's on the floor, but he also had 9 turnovers in that game, which is obviously a huge problem for the Warriors in general. And yet, with all that stuff happening, the comeback and that battle and everything, it ultimately came down, as so many games do, to who's going to make a shot and who's going to miss a shot. Rookie made a shot. Arguably the greatest shooter in NBA history missed a shot, and that ultimately decided it in the last minute.
I mean, go figure. It would go that way, and certainly tip your hat to Landry Shamet for stepping up and taking a big shot. But also the trust that Doc Rivers has, having him on the floor, his teammates finding him. A little poor execution rotation-wise defensively, although Draymond Green does get out and closes out. But the rookie from Wichita State stepped up big, and look, time and time again we've seen Steph Curry hit big shots, has the rookie on him, and obviously unable to convert here at the end of the game. And so, that's the way it goes down the stretch. When you're on the road, you want to give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
LA executed, but the bottom line is Golden State did a poor job of closing out this game.
Right.
Never should have been in this situation. At this point, too, the momentum. Yeah. Now, a team starts feeling good about themselves, coming back from a big comeback like that. So, obviously, tip your hat to LA. They got to be ready and focused there for Game 3 because you're going to get a reaction from Golden State. And back to just one other thing about the Kevin Durant situation. It's kind of like back in the day against Gary Payton. You can't play that game. Gary Payton's better at playing that game
than you are. Right.
So don't try to engage with him and get into all of that. Just be aggressive. Look to assert yourself. Don't be passive. He's got to take more shots, in my opinion. I don't care if you miss all your shots. At least you're being aggressive, attacking, being at your best. But it's almost like he's on his heels now, and he's allowed, as we were talking, how Beverly to get into his head. And so it'll be interesting, and I want to see how Durant comes out from the jump here in Game 3.
We also heard Steve Kerr say after the game that his team just stopped playing in the third quarter when they had that lead, and he's been exasperated in the past with his team for this kind of stuff. Bigger problem moving forward in the playoffs for the Warriors, the loss of Boogie Cousins or the complacency that has kind of been a problem for this team the last 2 seasons at times.
Yeah, I think being locked in. I think obviously losing Boogie's a big deal because he's so dynamic and go inside and outside and puts pressure on the defense in a way that they haven't had in recent years. But they're also averaging 21.5 turnovers a game, which is a very high number. And it puts the Clippers in transition. As we know, they're an up-tempo type of team. You get Lou Williams on the break, Harrell running the floor, the rest of those guys, Gallo and them. In transition, they're a dangerous team. I think they got to take care of the ball, get more locked in. But to Grant's point, I'm really interested to see how KD comes out and his response to this. And also, one more thing, I also think Klay Thompson needs to get more shots as well. I think he's only averaging 15, 14 points a game. Get him going a little bit too in this series.
At their worst, which is still pretty good, turnovers are the Warriors' biggest problem. They're their Achilles heel. Can they continue with this rate and reach the finals?
No, I also think people took for granted that the Clippers are a good matchup for the Warriors right now. I think especially without DeMarcus Cousins, that huge post presence, right? You would say, here, DeMarcus, get us a basket. They're going on a run. Make a good pass. Get this double team. Let's establish and set the pace of the game from us. Now they're playing Bogut, who's still getting used to that starting minutes. I think Kevin Looney is like plus 15. So you may think about putting Looney in there, who's able to keep up, who's able to, just go with the pace of the game. But the Clippers, they play almost the same style as Golden State, just a little bit tougher, a little bit more grinded. And all these turnovers are coming from the pressure that Patrick Beverly and all them are putting on the Warriors.
Yeah, Looney will be a factor moving forward. He had a postseason career high 19 on 6-for-6 shooting in Game 2. Well, speaking of heroic late performances, Jamal Murray joined the postseason when it counted late in Game 2. We'll look ahead to tonight's Game 3 between the Nuggets and Spurs.